To wrap up September, the last weekend of Bourbon Heritage Month, we have with us this morning Mark Rucker, the podcast host of the Bourbon Life. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Thanks so much for joining us, and I actually consider Mark a bourbon expert. You're here to talk with us just a little bit about some of the trends we've seen in Kentucky's Bourbon Trail.
Yes. Yeah, we've had some pretty exciting times the last few years. There's been a lot of expansion. A lot of the distilleries are growing. Heaven Hill's in the midst of a huge renovation. Buffalo Trace also about $1 billion renovation. Maker's Mark, Woodford Reserve has doubled their capacity over the last few months. So we're seeing a huge trend in the industry with the distilleries here in Kentucky. They're just continuing to grow, and the boom just keeps going.
And it sounds like a lot of these expansions include more experiences for people to come and see.
They do, definitely, especially like the Heaven Hill experience. They built that whole new project down there. It's a great place to go. You can pour your own bottles down there. So it's an exciting time for fans of bourbon across the country to come to Kentucky and visit and have a good time.
And get your hands in it, right? Pouring your own
That's
bourbon.
Right, pour your own bottle. That's right.
I love it. And prices, they're not going down. There's actually some increases.
Yeah, there have been some pretty substantial increases over the last few years. I think a lot of the bourbon distilleries realized other brands like Scotch and things like that were a little bit higher priced. So I think now they're realizing that they can charge a little more, make some more money off of their product, which is fine. I mean, the consumers, I'm still buying bourbon. All my friends are still buying bourbon, even though prices are going up. And I don't know the prices are going to continue to go up like they have over the last few years, but people are going to continue to buy bourbon.
What would you say is an average bottle of bourbon for just the going bottle, right? Maybe a single barrel.
I would say it's probably in that $40 to $50 range is a good price where people can find a lot of different expressions, things that they're going to find on the shelves. I mean, there's some bottles obviously that are more allocated. They're hard to find. A lot of the Buffalo Trace products, for example, but like Maker's Mark, Elijah Craig, a lot of those products are easy to find, and they're in that $35, $45 range.
There's some things for everybody. And to wrap us up, do you think there's more room for more bourbon in Kentucky?
There's always room for more bourbon in Kentucky. There's 10 million barrels or more under roof here in warehouses, but there's always room for more bourbon.
Hey, if you're thinking about starting a brand, our expert here says you're good to go. And I want to tell some folks more about your podcast. Sure. Tell us a little bit about it, The Bourbon Life.
Right, yeah. I co-host with my friend Matt Hughes. We started the podcast back in February of 2020. We put out a new show every Friday, and we interview master distillers, blenders, owners, just really interesting people in the bourbon industry, and we share their stories. We have listeners all around the world now, which is a lot of fun. So every Friday we put out a brand new episode, and people can find us Apple, Spotify, all the major platforms. Our podcast is out there.
And I'm sure you'll learn a few things too.
Yeah, I hope so. That's right.
Well, thank you so much, Mark, for joining us.